Hits by the pound.
Yeah, this is how we do it in the Central Coast, man. We got 40 ounces, Old English, rag tops, 6'4" Impalas, and bikini girls, man. This is how we do it on the West Coast. San Diego, San Francisco, Los Angeles. But don't forget about the Central Cali, man. Please don't forget about the Central Cali. Yeah, get 'em.
It's another sunny day in the state of California. Low rider palm trees and G's that put it on ya. This ain't a negative, we speaking ebonics. Rank talk, candy paint on D's with hydraulics. Baseball hat with the sticker on the brim. Don't let the sun blind your sight, cause things can get grim. But I'm not here to talk about banana clips and guns. We're going back to Cali and we're gonna have some fun. A West Coast domination.
And welcome back to Two-Face Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Fred Segura, out here in Monterey County, also known to the world as the Salad Bowl, also known as the Salinas Valley. To the people in LA, we are north. To the people in San Francisco, we are south. Right smack in the middle, best of both worlds. Don't forget about the Central Cali. Anyway, folks, today I'm going to take you back to 2001, 2002. Maybe 2000, somewhere within that time period. Back in the day, we used to go online. And this is before MySpace. Those of you who remember MySpace, guys, and Facebook and all that other good stuff, right? But before any of that, there used to be chat rooms. And it was pretty much you went in there, said something, and it actually stayed there, right? It's like if you walked into a classroom, wrote on a chalkboard, wrote a question or stated something, and then left, and then somebody else came in and wrote, a reply to that. So that's what these chat rooms were, for those of you who don't understand. And there was a whole bunch of them. We had our own here in the area. But yet, there was one out of the Bay Area. Shout out to Mike Keck, also known as Dutch, and Mr. Fab, and all these other people, AWACS, and everybody on the sickness.net. That was pretty much a hub for a lot of people in the Bay Area. Before anybody became anybody, I remember Burner being on there, Yuckmouth was on there, Gold Toes, Oak Creep from LA. There was people from everywhere on that message board, and there was different chat rooms, right, if you will. So with that, there was different chat rooms, and we'd go in there and we, give opinions and state and promote and do all this other good stuff. And it was a harsh message board to be in. People just, they were pretty cruel. But if you had to have thick skin to get through that, and eventually people would respect you and so on and so forth. Sometimes they wouldn't. Sometimes it'd be crazy in there sometimes. But for the most part, it was a good thing. So with that, guys, I had gotten, I forget how the heck I got a hold of Conch Records, which is now E1 Music, and, excuse me, and I think I called and left a message and said, hey, look, I'm working on an album, this is the title, if you're interested, give me a call, I don't remember exactly what I said, but it wasn't nothing stupid. It wasn't nothing like, hey, what's up, man? No, it was more like, hey, listen, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, the guy from the A&R ended up calling me, and he's calling me like pretty much every day after that. So, as I was heavily recording an album, I was really into this. I would go on this message board and promote and just kind of get the feel of everybody in there, They also had a message board. One was, it was based in the Bay Area. It was called the sickness.net. Now, it had like the BART, the Bay Area board. It had like an LA board. It had an open forum. It had these different forums that you could go into and chat with different people. It had a movie forum, and then they had also had an East Coco, which was the Norteño board, like the Norteño rappers, that went in there, and it was basically under Woodie, also known as Ryan Wood. God rest his soul, he passed away, known to a lot of people in the street as a Norteño rapper, right? So, with that, guys, it was just, again, I'd go in there and really no affiliation, just kind of go in there and just a civilian, and just kind of go in there and feel out everything, what's going on, and who's listening to what and what they like and what they don't like, kind of shit. So I'm trying to, kind of, get everything and try to work out that I'm gonna do something that they're gonna like. So anyhow, it was kind of my research, if you will. So so when I would go to the studio though, I kept getting phone calls from this A&R at Koch Records, which is now, I believe it's E1 Music. All right. And he'd be like, hey, man, like, what's up with the album? And I said, hey, listen, I could send you a copy, but I want to finish it. I want you to hear the whole finished product. I don't want you to hear half of it. He said, well, man, it doesn't matter. Just send it to me, dude. And I said, okay, cool. And then he'd call me later and be like, hey, man, how's it going? How's the album coming along? And da-da-da. And I'm like, all right, whatever the situation was. And like, hey, Fred, I didn't receive your package. What's up with the CD? What's up with the album? And I said, well, you know what, man? We're working on this track, and I really want you to hear this track. So I want to send it to you. And it just kept going and going. And it started, I started to feel like it was a joke. I started to feel like it was a joke, like, oh, come on, man, who's this guy calling? He's some kind of character, whatever. So, I go on these message boards. Like I said, I went on this message board on sickness.net at the time, and I see an advertisement for Woodie. He had an album at the time. I forget what year it was. It was between 2000 to 2002. Within that time frame, and he had Demons in My Sleep. He was promoting it, and it was under Koch Records, and I was like, oh, damn, So I, so in that message board, I actually DM'd him, right? I DM'd Woodie. I said, hey, this is, my name's Fred, yada, 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 hey, listen, I believe Koch is calling me, but I'm not sure how to really accept this or how to talk to them, and here's my phone number. Give me a call. I'd like to talk to you about it. So one day I'm chilling at home, and the phone rings, and mind you, this is like early 2000s, the cordless phone, with the antenna. My wife answered the phone. And she's like, hello, and I'm sitting there, she's all talking away, right? And I'm like, okay. And then she's, yeah, hold on a second. And she had the phone, and she's all, Woody's calling you. Woody from Toy Story? And I was like, what? Shut up, give me the phone. Like, what the hell? Woody from Toy Story. I'm like, hello. He's all, hey, Fred, this is Woody, man. And I was like, hey, what's up, Woody? How you doing? Cool dude, you know what I mean? Super cool guy. I said, I'm good, brother. Thank you for calling me. I started telling him about. Excuse me, guys. I started telling him about the about not promoting my album. I started telling him about the phone calls I was getting from Koch, and he before he told me anything, he was like, hey, man, he goes, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah, go ahead, man. He's all, who's calling you, bro? What's the guy's name that's calling you? And right away at the time, I really got it in my head, like, okay, you know what, dude? I didn't take offense to it, and not in a bad way. But he was testing me to make sure that I was telling him the truth. He didn't want to waste his time. That's how I took it, and I took no offense to it. So I told him, and I'll say it now. I go, the name's Cliff Coultry, and he said, yeah, bro. He's that's them. That's them. I mean, that's legit. They're calling you, bro. And he goes, he told me this. He goes, let me ask you a question, bro. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead, man. He's all, I bet he calls you every day, huh? And I said, yeah, bro. Sometimes a little too much. He goes, yeah, bro. It's them. So what's up, man? I go, well, you know what, dude? I go, I'm not sure if I really want to sign, you know? I go, it's kind of weird, you know? It seems kind of weird. He's all, you know what, man? He's all, he calls you every day, dude. But the moment you sign, you can't even get a hold of him anymore, you know? He goes, look, what they're mainly going to offer you, bro, is 4 albums, 4 years, and $40,000. And I was like, man, you know, but they'll, you'll be able to put stuff out, but you can't put under your alias name or whatever. You'll have to say, like, the Grindhouse Presents. I wasn't going under the Grindhouse at the time; it was a different name. But he was like, can't put the excuse me, you can't put the Grindhouse album. It's like the Grindhouse Presents, and it's basically a compilation of a bunch of different artists. He goes, you'll be able to do that. Like he was doing, I believe, that with the Northern Exposures at the time. He's just, but it, wow. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, the police is in a hurry somewhere. I thought it was something I said. Anyways, so yeah, man. I mean, he just told me, look, man. He's, you know what? It's up to you. He goes, but I mean, the ink won't even dry by the time you can't even get a hold of them, bro. He goes, so it's up to you, really, what you want to do, Fred. You know, at the end of the day, he was super cool about it. He didn't talk to me and I mean no disrespect, not in the sense that you would look at it and be like, he would give you like a stereotype fashion of talking to you. He's super cool, super down to earth guy, you know what I mean? Like just really cool, really informative, and talked to me respectfully. Gave me his actual name. He said, hey, my name's Ryan Wood, Fred, and thank you for calling and thank you for hitting me up, and whatever. But yeah, man, I mean, that's really, unfortunately, later on I heard that he had passed. I'll leave it at that, and it's unfortunate, man, that sometimes we see somebody or we see an image or what we feel they portray and we try to, put them in a box, in a sense, and far from. I could tell you in the small conversation that I had with them, maybe it was about 30, 40 minutes of that, nothing what you would probably imagine. Super cool, humble guy. I got a lot of love and respect for him. And I thank them, and I still continue to be appreciated that he filled me in on the information that I needed to know of what it would be like to sign to this label. Unfortunately, I didn't sign. My son still beats my butt for it. He said, Dad, you're stupid. You should have signed. We could have, you could have did this. Could have, should have, would have. Hey, no sense in crying over spilled milk, But again, guys, shout out to the sickness.net. That was the hub place for anybody, and you had to have thick skin to run through that place. But, you learned a lot, and made a lot of good friends in there. And yeah, man, so that's what it is. Shout out to, again, to Mike Keck, also known as Dutch. Shout out to Mr. Fab. Shout out to Gold Toes. Everybody that was in there, man. And we all got to meet in person at different times. And it was cool, man. It was a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, I never got to meet Woodie in person. But again, I did talk to him that day. And that's my story of when I spoke to Woodie from Antioch, California. The guy that put out the Northern Exposures, Demons in My Sleep, what is it, Yuck Influenced, and so on and so forth, but yeah, that's really it, guys. It feels good, man. It feels good to be able to sometimes talk to these people that have become like pretty much legendary in other people's minds, legends and stuff. But it also feels good that for myself, that I got to see the more human side of them, not just the persona of who people thought they were. So with that, guys, is a short one. Rest in peace to Ryan Wood, also known as Woody. That was my conversation with them. At the one-time conversation, guys. I'm not going to blow it up to be any more than that. Shout out to Big Tone. Again, shout out to Goto. Shout out to Burner. Burner, you were on there on the sickness.net way before you blew up, my brother. Shout outs to you, man. Glad to see you doing good. Because them dudes were harsh. But I remember, man, I you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, dude, this dude, you know, he didn't care. He was persistent and perseverance, and he made it happen. So anyways, guys, with that, this is Two Face Entertainment Podcast. I'm your host, Fred Segura, signing out.